Okay, welcome back everyone. Here we go. I'll put her name up there. See, Nunya Beeswax. Level 96. Okay. Now the freaking thing is to sit here and wait and try and get 2 summons. Oh, come on. Why fucking unable? I hate that after I fucking die, fucking people come up, keeps coming up, unable to summon, unable to summon. got me with that one last time, dude. Oh, come on. Fucking, why do you think you hit me all the time? was gonna try to quit out, so I'd pop back in outside, but.
I love every brand all the time. Oh my god! You made this? Oh no. It's soft. So this, if I wasn't stopped, I would eat this entire day. I'm not kidding. Oh my god. Can you move in with me? So, studying the film, but dipping sourdough into olive oil is great for your heart. So, let me rate of carbs. Because carbs are brain food. We need carbs. Now, I eat as much bread as I want to eat. Because I have a gut that actually can handle whatever it is that I throw in it. But that wasn't always the case.
So Maggie came to me about 15 years ago. She was bloated, gassy, and couldn't poop, and she was tired, couldn't lose weight.
And he took one look at me and said, you have a problem with your gut. Once you figure that out, all of these things are going to change for you.
And all we did was make simple lifestyle changes. And after a few weeks, she felt so much better, and she went, wow, why are so many people feeling like that, and they think it's normal? And that's why she created this one thing for you guys to treat the gut, which are often game changers for people, and they're very simple.
People write in and say, why? How do I feel different this quickly? Or they're shocked, and they're like, it's working! You know, and they'll call me.
There is a solution. It's much easier than you think. Your energy will improve. Your skin will improve. You're even going to sleep better.
And you know that there's help for it.
Whenever I ask my friends about the last time they went a whole day feeling awake, or light, or limber, or energized, or vibrant, most of them admit it's been a while. And I think that's something every adult can relate to. The problem is, we often just talk about getting older, or blame ourselves for being unhealthy. And sometimes we don't even notice it, because we're so used to feeling like, why? You don't ever stop to think there might be an alternative. Because while we're constantly bombarded by images of happy, healthy people who have perfect bodies, boundless energy, and exciting, active lives, in the real world, most people barely have enough energy to finish their day. And when you factor in all the other problems people struggle with these days, like weight gain, bloating, bad mood, irregular background habits, heavy and lethargic, trouble focusing, uncontrollable food cravings, indigestion, and just everyday stress, that fun, happy, healthy life we all want is starting to feel unhealthy. And I know I struggle with many of these same problems myself. course, as an actress, I did my best to hide them. But even then, I wasn't always successful. For example, I'll never forget how mortified I was when my bulging stomach sparked pregnancy rumors and nasty comments about my figure online. So, whenever people tell me they feel sluggish and fatigued or they're insecure about their weight, I always assure them they're not alone. But what if I told you that no matter how old you are, what your lifestyle is like, or how busy your schedule might be, there's one very simple thing you can do at home each day that can help you feel and look like a brand new person by this time next week? Well, I am living proof of this. And it doesn't require any special diets, pills, or workouts either. In fact, it just requires a few seconds every morning. But once I tell you my story, you'll understand exactly why it works. Hi, I'm Maggie Q. You may recognize me from shows like Nikita and Designated Survivor, or see me saving the world alongside Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible 3. But while I often play dynamic, kick-butt characters on screen, I'll let you in on a little secret.
Wanna fight? Yeah, I do. Golden Vow, activate. Flame Grant Me Strength, activate. Wondrous Flask, activate. Aromatic, how about no? What? Ladies, gentlemen, and tarnish of all ages, how do you feel about making your hands glow, lifting it up, and then making some other stuff glow in the distance until things die? Well, if you're here, that's probably a major part of your general playstyle, because today is all about
Unreal, man. I'm about to have
after all the
nobody
time we've
here.
spent in Elden Ring so far, something all too prevalent in games of all types is that people will find the thing that works the best, and most others will then slowly catch on, and then
He's gonna try that weapon though. This guy's just trying all kinds of different shit at my
and while
expense.
some of them are quite weak, so it is fair that they aren't used much, others are simply not talked about because they weren't found first, or because they are only the second best solution to a specific problem. But sometimes the second best solution to one problem is the best solution to another. And so today I'll be sharing what I believe to be 7 incantations that are underrated in Elden Ring. Things you should absolutely consider carrying around in your faith build to supplement your play style. Without further ado, first off then will be a double up of fire spells that are very similar, Cat Flame as well as O Flame. I chose to put them together because they function very similarly, but the real spotlight of this is of course O Flame. The Fire Monk incantation, as this one can be buffed with the Giant Seal, or two of them. Fire damage as a whole in Elden Ring is also just generally very buffable, and also this thing is a charged skill which can be buffed further. In practice, this thing totally melts things. Like, look at this freaking tree. I missed the first one. That is all of those other 2 hits that came out in under 2 seconds. The big thing with this is obviously I have built for it, but this spell still hits relatively hard, even as a thing that you just shove into your random toolkit in a non-fire-based build. It is a great option to have. Again, if you focus on it, it can become absolutely deadly. Catch Flame, then, is one of the basic incantations in this game that you get from Brother Corin. It is simply a short-range burst of fire that is super quick to fire off. You can do it while sprinting, even after a weapon swing. It is a good combo piece, and it works well as a general companion to O-Flame as the fastest or future comrade. The damage is lower, considerably, and it cannot be buffed by the same number of things. But the speed at which it can still be over as well is absolutely admirable, especially in something like have this non-stop one range spending a fortnight is making it happen without faster. When you break away from the frame of mind, if you want to after finding the Fire Monk prayer book, which runs on the Fire Monk and second is Howl of Fury. That's what when used, you release a large amount of damage, then you apply instant damage to build up the world instead of self-damage yourself. But you can so while it's stronger as a buff than Flame Grant Me Strength, technically all the spell fire and stuff you can actually use to affect things. Unfortunately, you cannot stack them together, but you know.
Oh, was that a double kill? Holy shit.
Yeah,
shit, yeah.
massive field of strong bow. It is not even use from the ground floor. Only incantations for itself. Third up is Stone of Terrain. This is absolutely meaty, and in my opinion, is something entirely worth building your entire character. Obviously, the FP cost can make this a bit tough.
Let's see how that'll work.
But of all the beast incantations, this would be by far the best choice to use like that. The damage is very high, the projectile is relatively quick, and most importantly, the animation can be chained back to back to back with left and right facing throws to really make it non-stop, with your stamina actually being more of a limiting factor on this than the Death P more often than not. That said, a number of things that can normally not affect elemental damage types. For example, the only spells in the game that Flame Breath Strength increases the power of are fire damage spells, which makes sense. And also then the beast incantations, because they are physical damage. Enemies in the game that are resistant to elemental damage types in a specific bit to make you consider swapping to melee for a moment, instead get bodied by this incantation, because it is, again, physical magic. It is just a really neat tool to have in your kit, regardless of if you focus it or not. It's a big, meaty, ranged physical option to carry around in your tool belt. To get it yourself, simply deliver Death Roots to Greg, specifically 6 Death Roots for this one, and if you want a guide on where to find those, check out our Beast Incantation video linked down below. Fourthly, we have Dragon Bolt Blessing. This is a really interesting one. A buff, not an offensive spell, but while it is...
Oh my god, that was totally messed up that they fucking got killed both at the same fucking time. That really was.
And it also increases resistance to statuses to a lesser extent. And then in return for this, it lowers your lightning resistance. But the main benefit here is that any enemy who's using two-handed their weapon or using a colossal weapon just cannot perform a combo on you any longer. Which, when it does work, just makes life way easier for the simple cost of one spell slot. The beauty of incantations and sorceries is that, while there are a limited number of spell slots that you can have filled at one time, you can change them anytime you sit down at a grade. Meaning in any given situation, you are allowed to adapt your toolkit to what's necessary. And so knowing that a tool like this exists makes you more likely to use it, and that's why this is here as an entry on this list. It's good. Use it. Get it yourself. Simply go and loot it from the Stormcaller Church located in the Elden Plateau region. Fifth then is going to be Elden Stars. Yes, it is a legendary incantation, but nobody really uses it, even though it is. And you really should, especially since it was buffed in patch 1.04, speeding up the cast time, which makes it far more viable in more situations, as the main issue with this beforehand was the cast time itself. Now, yes, you will probably get hit while you are launching the spell off, but at least now, more often than not, the spell will actually go off as well, and once it does, you have a homing bomb of holy energy firing out small tracking missiles for ages until it connects with your target. There's simply no way to dodge every single hit of this attack, and the pressure that it can put someone under makes it quite easy to capitalize and hit them with something bigger. This spell may not be something that one-shots people or bosses, but the distraction that it creates will let you set up the one-shots in PvP. In PvE, it is just a stream of consistent damage, though the place this one shines is definitely more against other players. To get this one yourself, first get to the Deep Root Depths region of the game. Then from the Great Waterfall Crest site of Grace, head towards the tree roots and then jump off of them to find that one goes up to the cliff wall. Follow it into the cave up there, then run all the way to the end of the cave to find the Elden Stars incantation. Sixthly today is going to be the Law of Progression incantation. While this one does have some very rare effects in PvE, the main reason I want to highlight this is clearly PvP. This incantation requires 37 intelligence, which is quite meaty for someone using incantations, but an imp user with enough faith to use a seal can just sort of sneak it into their build too, quite easily in fact. And what it does is reset both you and your opponents to your default state. It removes all buffs and debuffs. I showed you Dragon Bolt Blessing earlier. That is one of the least annoying buffs that is used in all the game, but as if by some divine providence, when I was using it, someone walked up with Law of Progression and just snapped everything off of me, like I am doing to others. This is, however, the only time that I've actually seen someone do this to me in all of my time in PvP. And I have no idea why, because especially in duels, a lot of people just spend the first 20 seconds at the start buffing up, getting more powerful, becoming one-shot machines. And this incantation lets you just stop it. If you are someone who doesn't have a very buffable build yourself, but keep finding yourself against people who are using Golden Vow and playing Brand New Strength, healed a notable amount. You can even use the incantation and then drink your wondrous flask so that you have your buffs and they don't. It's just a neat little trick that you can do. If you want this incantation for yourself, from the Air Tree Sanctuary site of Grace, head to the balcony and then up the tree branch outside to loop back into the second floor of the building and go out of the door, but then jump back onto the roof on your left and then in through the window, running around the entire edge of the room to eventually reach another route where you can reach the Golden Order Principle of Prayer book. Exchange it with a faith vendor and then you can purchase this incantation. Finally, then on the agenda will be the Blessing of the Air Tree. This one is quite simple. For 90 seconds after casting this, you and anyone who was in the circle that was there when you casted it will regain 12 health per second. Yeah, I know. 12 health per second isn't a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, but think of how many times you have survived a hit by an absolute sliver of your health bar. And think about how many more times you may survive with just that little passive bit of healing. We have 10 spell slots in this game, people, and you should absolutely consider the possibility that one of those 10 should go to something that's just constant, never-ending healing to help you in every fight in the game. No matter how small this healing is, every edge is an edge, and you have 10 slots that you should be using. This is a passive edge that will help you in any fight in the game. To get it for yourself, then, simply reach the Queen's Bedchamber site of Grace and Langdell as part of the story progression, and you'll find it in the room there.
Well, I'm getting tired of waiting there.
A whole 7 incantations that you all need to be using more. Yeah, some of them are just straight up
another
offensive
couple
power,
seconds
like
or so here, and
Elden Stars, though, is more
I
something
can
to
get ready to go.
itself. And then we have a number of buffs of different varieties because there is absolutely no reason to avoid taking advantage of the options presented to you in this game to prepare adequately for the challenges within. I hope you've come away with this reinvigorated with energy to mess with your own incantation setup, to really fill up your slots with things that you can actually use. Like if you like these videos, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Toxic and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor, like...
But then, tarnish of all ages, how do you feel about making your hands glow, lifting it up, and then making some other stuff glow in the distance until things die? Well, if you're here, that's probably a major part of your general playstyle, because today is all about incantations. Specifically, after all the time that we've spent in Elden Ring so far, something all too prevalent in games of all types is that people will find the thing that works the best, and most others will then slowly catch on and then do the same. The sad reality of this is that so many parts of games just end up unused. And while some of them are quite weak, so it is fair that they aren't used much, others are simply not talked about because they weren't found first, or because they are only the second best solution to a specific problem. But sometimes the second best solution to one problem is the best solution to another. And so today I'll be sharing what I believe to be 7 incantations that are underrated in Elden Ring. Things you should absolutely consider carrying around in your faith build to supplement your play style. Without further ado, first off then will be a double up of fire spells that are very similar, Cat's Flame as well as O Flame. I chose to put them together because they do function very similarly, but the real spotlight of this is, of course, O Flame, the Fire Monk incantation, as this one can be buffed with the Giant Seal when using 2 of them. Fire damage as a whole in Elden Ring is also just generally very buffable, and also this skill which can be done further. Besides, this is totally melted. Like, look at this freaking tree. I missed the first one. That is all of those other 2 hits that came out in under 2 seconds. The big thing with this is, obviously, I have built towards it, but this spell still hits relatively hard, even as the thing is just shove into your random toolkit in a non-fire-based build. It is a great option to have around, and again, if you focus on it, it can become absolutely deadly. Cat's Flame, then, is one of the basic incantations in the game that you get from Brother Corin. It is simply a short-range burst of fire that is super quick to fire off. You can do it while sprinting, even after a weapon swing. It is a good combo piece, and it works well as a general companion to O Flame that is faster but easier comrade. The damage is lower, considerably. Over 1200 damage. Admirable, especially if the play. Wait your non-stop when you play a point damage, or just sprint away from this Fire Monk, Prayer Book, which is located in Fire Monk. faster as they buffed and flamed her.
Fuck. Damn it.
Ways to affect different things. Unfortunately, you cannot stack them together, but you know, you just gotta choose which one you want in which situation. And this damage buff part of this incantation is
Okay.
surprised that I never hear anyone talk about.
I'll look here one more time, and then I'm gonna go.
But a 25% all damage buff is massive, even with the drawback involved.
Let's try to find
Fire damage,
some more incantations.
If you want this one for yourself, you'll need to head to the Frenzy Flames Tower in northeastern Liurnia. Climb up 2 ladders from the ground floor, and you will see a chest. Open it up and claim the incantation yourself. Third up is the Stone of Garank. This beast incantation is absolutely meaty, and in my opinion is something entirely worth building your entire character around the concept of spamming. Obviously, the FP cost can make this a bit tough as a main damage source and level clearing, but of all the beast incantations, this would be by far the best choice to use like that. The damage is very high, the projectile is relatively quick, and most importantly, the animation can be changed back to back to back with left and right spacing throws to really make it non-stop, with your stamina actually being more of a limiting factor on this than the FP more often than not. That said, a number of things that can normally not affect elemental damage types. For example, the only spells in the game that Flame Dragon Strength increases the power of our fire damage spells, which makes sense. And also then the beast incantations, because they are physical damage. Enemies in the game that are resistant to elemental damage types in a specific bit to make you consider swapping to melee for a moment, instead get bodied by this incantation, because it is, again, physical magic. It is just a really neat tool to have in your kit, regardless of if you focus it or not. It's a big, meaty, ranged physical option to carry around in your tool belt. To get it yourself, simply deliver Death Roots to Garank, specifically 6 Death Roots for this one, and if you want a guide on where to find those, check out our Beast Incantation video linked down below. Fourthly, we have Dragon Bolt Blessing. This is a really interesting one. A buff, not an offensive spell, but while it is situational, the situations in which this is good at, it is actually really silly good with. Specifically, anytime an enemy tries to combo you in defense using a one-handed weapon or power handing 2 of them. And it also increases resistance to statuses to a lesser extent. And then in return for this, it lowers your lightning resistance. But the main benefit here is that any enemy who isn't two-handing their weapon or using a colossal weapon just cannot perform a combo on you any longer. Which, when it does work, just makes life way easier for the simple cost of 1 spell slot. The beauty of incantations and sorceries is that while there are a limited number of spell slots that you can have filled at one time, you can change them any time you sit down at a grace. Meaning in any given situation, you are allowed to adapt your toolkit to what's necessary. And so knowing that a tool like this exists makes you more likely to use it, and that's why this is here as an entry on this list. This is good. Use it. To get it yourself, simply go and loot it from the Stormcaller Church located in the Elden Plateau region. Fifth then is going to be Elden Stars. Yes, it is a legendary incantation, but nobody really uses it, even though it is. And you really should, especially since it was buffed in patch 1.04, speeding up the cast time, which makes it far more viable in more situations. As the main issue with this beforehand was the cast time itself. Now, yes, you will probably get hit while you are launching the spell off, but at least now, more often than not, the spell will actually go off as well. And once it does, you have a homing bomb of holy energy, firing out small tracking missiles for ages until it connects with your target. There's simply no way to dodge every single hit of this attack, and the pressure that it can put someone under makes it quite easy to capitalize and hit them with something bigger. This spell may not be something that one-shots people or bosses, but the distraction that it creates will let you set up one-shots in PvE. And in PvE, it is just a stream of consistent damage, so the play for one time is definitely more against most players. To get this one yourself, first hit the deep root depth roots of the game. Then from the Great Waterfall crest that is great, head towards the 3 roots and then jump off of them to find that one goes up to the wall. Follow it in from there, then run all the way to the end of the cave to find the Elden site. Sixthly today is going to be the Law of Progression incantation. Well, this one does have some very rare effects. One highlight this is clearly key. The incantation requires 30 seconds of health, quite easy for someone to but in most users, when sort of stick it into their build too. And what it does is in this game. Absolute possibility that one of just constant, never-ending feeling that every fucking game, no matter how much every edge is an edge. You have that block.
Oh, what the? You didn't even touch me. Oh my fucking god, dude. You did not even touch me with the fucking shit. Oh my fucking god, that was nonsense.
To prepare adequately for the challenges within. I hope you've come away with this reinvigorated with energy to mess with your own incantation setup, to really fill up your slots with things that you can actually use. Like if you like these videos, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet. Hot and hollow with the videos, dropping the humorous like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement.
Oh, come on now. Fucking gonna go back to this shit now.
To reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage is nice.
Oh, come on. The fucking goddamn fucking cow feet fucking smushing me like that. That's... There's a new one. Hey, spell. Bullshit. Oh, what the... You don't even hit me with that thing. Better go out with his mother's freaking shoes on. It. That was ridiculous there, man. He didn't even hit me with nothing when he was fucking doing that. That's a fucking bullshit, man. Come on. We just didn't fucking do that shit. Why the fuck am I having trouble with Hakubo now?
got an email from a company called Elden, and they were like, "Yo, check out the P24 tag." I said, "Nah, I don't use core tag. I don't use it."
Hello there, friends, and welcome. This is a guide to the best faith incantations post the most recent patch 1.04, a very special patch that improved quite a lot of the spells in the game. Now you truly have incantations to take on every single quest the game throws at you, no matter the situation. For the bigger, larger bosses, the smaller humanoid bosses, sniping enemies at very long range, and of course also dealing very high, medium, and close range damage. Not to mention all of the great buffing spells you have at your disposal. So let us get started, and first the bosses on safe spells. Alright, so when it comes to the bigger, larger bosses, so basically the bosses larger than humanoid size, they don't have to be as massive as a dragon, so long as they have a decently sized, wide, and large hitbox, that's when the spell truly shines. Fast Threat. A spell that was already amazing before this patch, and it was even buffed for lower stamina cost, so you can chain at speed to basically completely destroy the large bosses in just one go. This incantation by the code will fire off a lot of projectiles towards your enemy, just like the prawn enemy ability. Against normal size targets, it's nothing special. The ability comes against the big target. Hit the enemy multiple times as they pass through their body, and hit the area you have targeted. For example, we have dragons.
Like, comment, subscribe, guys. Hit that bell icon for post notifications. And I will be right back with another episode. So come on back for more Elden Ring Samurai class.